Still working this breaking news of an active shooter in Baltimore tonight. If you have a loved one or a friend at the Morgan State University campus, it looks like there is an active shooter, maybe two. That's the weird part. There may be as many as two shooters right now. And I am so sorry to confirm from the police that 4 people have been shot. We don't know if they have survived the shooting, if they're injured, if they've been transported to hospital. All we know is that police are now confirming, not just to the Baltimore Banner, but to us and as well, that 4 people have been shot. There are more details coming in. Our Caitlin Becker joining us, senior reporter at thedailymail.com. You've been finding out a lot of details of when this started and how. What'd you learn?
Yeah, we're really kind of doing this in real time the same way that you are, but according to reports, we're finding out that the first 911 call came in about 9:28 p.m. and was reporting that there was a shooting happening in one of the dining halls. We also have reports that there is a shooter or was a shooter shooting out of a 7th floor in a building from a dorm room.
Now, well, maybe that's why they think there might be 2 shooters.
Yeah, because I don't know the timing.
Right. If there were 2 reports, who knows if there was a time for whoever fired the first shots to get to the second location, or if that's a second shooter.
And at this point, I'm unaware, and we're not aware yet, of where the dorm is in relation to the dining hall. Another thing that we are looking into as well is, and I'm sorry as I'm going through here, we're sort of reporting this, like I said, in real time, that police are currently reportedly looking for a white BMW that is a vehicle of interest. Okay. So it's something in the area they're looking for.
White BMW, we don't know why. We don't know.
No, we don't know why yet.
Okay, no, we didn't know if people, masked people got into it and took off, or if it was screaming through the neighborhood. Real quickly, do you know anything about the people, the 4 people shot? Has there been any further information on those people?
As of now, we do not know their condition, but I will say that the statement that you read earlier about avoiding Thurgood Marshall Hall, I do know that it's a co-ed dorm hall with a dining facility. So these could have been in the same building. So we're sort of kind of piecing this together as to where they're happening. But that building has dorms as well as a dining facility.
As well as the dining hall. So I think we're maybe zeroing in on why all the reports are coming from there. Stand by for 1 second. Check further into those sources that you're talking to. I want to bring in Jim Maxwell if I can. Jim is a retired FBI agent. He trains people in active shooter situations. Jim, I'm going to leave this shot up. Obviously, you can see the police activity on the university campus. This is live video at this moment, but I wanted to get your take on what you've heard so far. You heard Caitlin talking about the possibility, could be 1, could be 2 shooters, because they've got reports coming from the dining hall, shots from the dining hall, and shots from the 7th floor building of a dorm. What are you thinking when you hear those reports?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, Ashleigh, is in an academic situation, lockdown is the priority in an active shooter situation. So the students or staff that are trapped or in this situation should remain in place, lock their doors, and wait for the all clear signal. And now a university of this size, I'm sure they have a protocol set in place to address this problem, and that would be the advice I would Jim, give at this moment.
I did want to ask you about lockdown, because we've been through this a few times, certainly with college campuses.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not just shelter in place. They often give a lot more detail, like put a mattress up against your window, turn off your lights, don't be near the window. Like, they're getting a lot more specific when there's an active shooter about what kids and staff and employees, are supposed to do in these circumstances.
Right. It depends how close you are to the situation. But yeah, if you can barricade yourself and make yourself inaccessible to the intruder, either by locking the doors, shutting off lights, shutting off your phone, making sure that you can't be seen or heard. These are priorities in these particular situations.
And if I always say, shut the curtains or the blinds. I mean, at least I was a war correspondent. We used to tape the windows in case there was a bomb, because the shrapnel would come through and the glass would hurt. Well, hold 1 second. Caitlin Becker has more information. What did you find out?
Just a brief little thing that the entire city of Baltimore appears to be under a tactical alert at this point. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that they're searching for this car, or if perhaps the shooter is maybe on the move, but it seems like it's now impacting beyond this campus and the city of Baltimore.
The whole city is under tactical alert? Wow, that is something, and that makes sense. White BMW, Caitlin Becker reporting, they're on the lookout for a white BMW, and that has affected the entire city of Baltimore, understandably, with 4 people confirmed shot by the Baltimore PD. I'm going to fit in a really quick break. We're going to work some sources. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.